All right, everyone. So we have another video here from Set the Programmer, and it's one that I'm actually surprised that I haven't already reacted to this because I saw the title of the video and I swear I thought for a minute, no, I already reacted to this. And then I went ahead and, checked all the videos on my channel, and it turns out, no, I didn't react to this yet. So we're going to be watching this, and it's a video about could Madara defeat all the Uchiha. Now, we did react to a video that was sort of similar to this. It's probably why I thought that I kind of already reacted to this. And it was a video about Modera versus the Akatsuki. So I guess that's probably why I thought I already reacted to it, because it's basically putting Modera against a group of people. But this time it's different. Instead of the Akatsuki, it's the Uchiha. And this is actually really interesting because for me, I think Madara could defeat like most of the Uchiha. I think he can beat Shisui. I think that's true. I do believe he can beat Itachi, even though I'm sure a lot of people may not want to accept that. I do think he can defeat Itachi. Where it gets interesting is you've got characters like Sasuke and Obito, and also there's characters like Fugaku, Sasuke's father. I think yes, he can beat him. You've got Indra. Well, no, sorry, Indra's technically an Otsutsuki. His descendants are Uchiha. So I guess he technically doesn't count. Other than Fugaku, who can I think of? Oh yeah, there's Kagami Uchiha. But we don't really know a lot about him, so we can't really compare the two because we don't really know what he can do. We know he was we know he was a part of Tobirama's little, group, along with what was his name, Sarutobi and God, what was his name, Danzo. Yeah, so that should probably give you an idea that he's probably really good. But again, we don't have any feats either in the anime or in the manga. I know in the manga he doesn't have any. I can't remember if maybe there was like a filler in the anime where we got to see some feats from Kagami, but yeah, so for now, I guess we can't really say what Madara can do against him. And another interesting opponent is, of course, Sasuke. Now, it depends on which version of Sasuke you're talking about, and also, I guess, depends on which version of Madara they're going to be talking about here. If they're talking about a live Madara, and you pit him up against, let's say, War Arc Sasuke, because I think any other version of Sasuke is just not going to be able to do anything against Madara. And even then, I still think Madara would win because, well, Madara, alive, when he was brought back by Arena Rebirth, Sasuke tried fighting against him, couldn't do anything. Although, granted, he did have Hashirama's, Sage Chakra, so it did help him. And he had Hashirama cells, which vastly increase your power. I mean, everyone knows this. It can take a regular human and make him incredibly powerful. So imagine what it could do to someone like Madara, who's already powerful to begin with. So you could say that, how would Sasuke do against Final Valley Madara before he got the power-ups from Hashirama cells and his Sage Jutsu, and then later on he got the Rinnegan? I think that would be a more interesting battle. But if we're talking about Jubi Madara, you have 10 Tails Madara with 1 Rinnegan, then you have 10 Tails Madara with 2 Rinnegan, then you have 10 Tails Madara with 2 Rinnegan and a Rinne Sharingan. Yeah, I don't think Sasuke will be able to do anything against that. Now, adult Sasuke, I think absolutely would be able to win. I think adult Sasuke would stomp all versions of Madara. And I know there's probably a lot of people who don't want to accept that, but it is true. It's just a fact. So let's go ahead and watch this video and see what Set the Programmer has to say. And before we do, guys, as always, remember, check the description for links. Leave a like, share this video out there, comment down below with your thoughts, as well as any recommendations you have for me. Any videos out there you want me to react to, just let me know about them in the comments. And if you're new, consider subscribing and make sure to click the bell icon to be notified. Sorry for the long intro, but let's go ahead and watch the video.
1, 2, 3, call me Big Dick Bill Lee. Alright. Hello everyone, it's your host, Set the Programmer. With me today I have my Big Mac father,
I don't know why.
We're gonna be talking about Madara versus the entire Uchiha.
Okay, for a second it was, I thought maybe the quality of the video was, below. Like, did I forget some? But no, it's HD. I guess it was something on their end.
God mode variants, so no like 6 paths, 10 tails.
No black balls.
Yeah, no Obito with Renegon, because that's like Pain's eye who's present. So we're also going to be using possibly blind Modera or alive Modera. Yeah. We'll use like multiple variations. We'll kind of just go over the whole topic.
So for the Uchiha clan, we're going to keep it simple, because like we don't want to have to do like permutations of like multiple Moderas versus multiple versions of the Uchiha clan.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So
like we'll just say, you know, they're like basic regular versions. And,
so just the Itachi who fights Sasuke, the Obito with the orange mask.
Now, I feel like we should preempt this by saying that we are not making the Uchiha clan weaker for the sake of making it easier for Madara, right, which we were accused of doing for the Uchiha clan in the Uchiha versus Hokage video. We're doing it for the sake of convenience. If you want my opinion,
I don't think be
primarily talking about.
Yeah, I don't think I watched that video either, so that would be, I think, would be fun to react to.
I have Madara, right?
Yeah.
So pretty much any non-6 paths configuration of the Uchiha clan, Madara should win against. No matter what. If you're talking about like a live Madara with the 9 tails. So it's we're just doing it for the sake of convenience, so we don't have to be like, well, this Madara wins against these ones and this one loses, and it's just.
Which Sasuke should we use though? I'm assuming just like 5 Kage Summit, or is it EMS?
Maybe EMS.
I think EMS would be fair.
EMS is fine.
Yeah, EMS is fine.
Like that does have Itachi's eyes, so it's kind of weird, but.
So like if we want it to be the what like.
Well, I mean, if you're going with a live Madara in the Final Valley, then technically he has his brother. Oh God, what was his name? Why am I forgetting his name? His brother. Fuck, why am I forgetting his name? Madara's younger brother. What was his name? Hold on. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna let the video play out, and I'm gonna look up his name. But yeah, but basically what I was gonna try to say is, if we're using a live Modera at the Final Valley, then it would be also fair to use Sasuke with the EMS, because Madara also had EMS and he took them from his brother, so it would only be fair, at least in my opinion.
Like one that could logically happen, then yeah, 5 Kage Summit would probably make the most sense.
But we can talk about EMS and it's still fine, I think. So the problem with the Madara versus
Izuna, that's his name. Okay.
Is that it's surprisingly
I don't know why I forgot that.
Because of a few reasons in particular. And so obviously the Uchiha clan will feature Sasuke, Obito, Fugaku, Shisui, Itachi, and whatever. I mean, do we include
Izuna?
Yeah, Madara's brother,
Kagami. You can throw in any other number of like nameless Uchiha if you want. They don't really make a difference.
Right. So, from what we do know is that 11-year-old Itachi and Shisui, before the coup, was stronger than any Uchiha. Like that was
Fugaku included.
Fugaku included. 11-year-old Itachi. Now, 11-year-old Itachi is a beast. Like.
Was he? I mean, because I think I remember in one of the, I think it's stated in one of the novels. Yeah, the Midnight Itachi Midnight novel. I think it stated that because it also went over the night of the Uchiha clan massacre. It stated that when Itachi went up against his dad, he knew that okay, this is not going to be easy. So I don't know, like maybe you could say that Itachi was stronger at that point, but his dad would have still actually put up a good fight. I don't know. So I don't know if I would say that he was like stronger. I don't know. That's an interesting one for me. Again, like I guess you could say he was. I guess you could say the book was kind of implying that even though Itachi was stronger, his dad was still a good enough shinobi that he would have actually put up a good fight, is maybe what the book was trying to say. Or maybe it was saying that like his job would have been a lot more difficult if like he had to actually fight him. So I don't know, like that statement is interesting to me.
when he was 12, he was able to convince Obito he was a worthy opponent, per se.
Yeah.
So he is.
And then there's like all that Orochimaru stuff he did. But.
Yeah.
It is important to note that the Orochimaru stuff was after a very big Mangekyo amp that he got.
Right.
So that is extremely important.
He actually got stronger after murdering or massacring all the Uchiha. Like technically.
Yeah, because like I mean, this is gonna be relevant anyway because we're talking about the Uchiha. So like, there's this like implication that kind of comes up every now and then that the Uchiha clan gets stronger as their like emotions become more intense, particularly hate, because like Sasuke awakens the Mangekyo Sharingan, right? And then he goes and fights B. But then when he's like way angrier at the 5 Kage Summit, Karin points out that he's
gotten stronger.
That he's a lot more powerful, And so you can imagine then that Itachi having to kill his whole family would probably power him up,
and all his
reasons.
friends as well.
Yeah.
All his friends,
his girlfriend,
and
all of them.
It's not just like pure anger per se.
Yeah, and that's something that I think a lot of people kind of forget about because, Tobirama here in this situation does say that, the Uchiha clan's ocular jutsu responds to their emotions. And he even said it himself, that's why they had to deliberately keep it in check. Because, like, the Uchiha feel stronger emotion than literally anyone else. And because of that, it can cause them to go a little bit crazy. I mean, prime example right here. And then, of course, same thing we saw with Modera. But yeah, that's actually the reason why Itachi, you could say, was so strong at such an early age, is because they even said it himself, like, Itachi from such a young age was already exposed to a lot of stuff. He already saw like what happens in war, and that's something that a kid shouldn't really see. And you could say that got to him, which of course would cause him to awaken his Sharingan at such an early age, and seeing all that stuff when he was really young would just like get to him, which of course his Sharingan would respond to those emotions and just also power him up. So you could say that that's probably the reason why Itachi, outside of just being really talented, was able to get so powerful at such a young age. And especially like during the Uchiha clan massacre, since we know that Itachi didn't want to do this, he had to keep his emotions suppressed. But then once it was over, it's like he felt everything at the same time, and it just severely enhanced his ocular powers. And especially because at the time he had the Mangekyo, which of course would have made him even stronger, which probably explains why he was so strong when he was only like 21, I think was when he died, and why you could say that he was able to keep up with like KCM1 Naruto, because again, like everything that he went through, his Sharingan was responding to his emotions and just continuously powering himself up. So yeah, again, it's like I know some people may because I know what I'm trying to say is I know some people may look at Itachi and how quickly he grew is kind of like feeling like it's a bit out of nowhere, but it does actually make sense when you look at the explanations given to us in the story. It does make sense.
It's really strong emotions. Anything that can convey love, really, or like the loss or the antithesis of love, really kind of activates it. And this is exaggerated in the Sakura novel as well as by Tobirama. So losing those close to you will strengthen it. Like if they wanted to murder Sakura and like put her corpse on display for Sasuke to like power him up so they could steal his eyeballs when they were stronger than ever before.
Yeah, this was actually pretty crazy to see. But yeah, it shows you right here that even Sasuke, who at the time you could say had probably the most powerful Sharingan out there, and especially he had the Rinnegan, but that doesn't mean that his Sharingan can't grow stronger, because it responds to strong emotions. So yeah, if they showed him Sakura's corpse, yeah, it would have probably powered him up to an insane level. And probably you could say it was a good idea that in the events of the versus Momoshiki arc, it was probably a good idea that Kinshiki didn't kill Sarada, because if Sasuke saw his own daughter being murdered in front of him, I mean, one sec. Sorry, I had to clear my throat for a second. But you saw in the Naruto manga, like how strong Sasuke got just by hearing about what Itachi went through and what he was forced to do because of the village, even though granted it was Itachi's own choice, but at the same time you could also say that he wasn't really left with a lot of choices. Just by hearing that, it awakened the Mangekyo in him, and his anger like caused him to grow to the point where he's borderline Kage level, or to the point where he can fight in the 5 Kage summon against the Raikage and against the other Kage. And if he, at this point, if he did see his daughter being murdered in front of him, I feel like that would give him an insane rage amp. Like, I don't even know what would happen if that's the case. Like, I feel like it's probably a good idea not to do that, because I mean, we don't know what's going to happen if that's the case. But let's go ahead and continue.
I really don't know what they were expecting to happen with that one, but that was their plan. And then Tobirama's like, yeah,
it is kind of stupid. It's like, so you're telling me you want to piss off one of the 2 strongest shinobi in the world, and you thought that by making him stronger it would be easier to take his eyes? Like, dude, he would have killed you before you could even blink. Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. That was not very well thought out.
Modera has just been alive for so long, with so many wars, so many of his loved ones dying, that his Sharingan just got stronger and stronger and stronger. So then you have Itachi, who's already a beast, like literally stronger than his father, more than likely. He says his father's a bad matchup, but he does say it is confirmed that he's probably stronger than him. Then he murders all his friends and family, and then watches Shisui die. So he probably gets a massive amp on top of that.
A humongous, gargantuan amp. And the reason this is important, real quick, is just because Shisui is not the same as the Itachi that beat Orochimaru.
Right.
Shisui does not scale to like Sanin level, as far as we know. He's stronger than Fugaku, who may be Hokage level. That's really all we know.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's implied that Shisui is the most talented. He has the fastest body flicker. That was gonna kidnap the 3rd Hokage or something. He has the ultimate Genjutsu. It's really implied Shisui is above Fugaku. And the other thing as well is that the Uchiha clan, they didn't really respect Minato or Kakashi, but they actually had some respect for Orochimaru, actually.
Yeah.
Which was interesting to think about. So, no, the Itachi who kind of fondle stomped Orochimaru was not scaling to Fugaku or Shisui. If you want to learn more about Shisui scaling, Swag has a video on it. But basically, Danzo tore his eyeball out. All right, like
the same Danzo that loses and gets mopped, but this is a huge amp Danzo, right? Like we were talking about like the Sharingan amps that Itachi got. Well, Danzo has 11 of them. Yeah. So this Danzo is
and
massive.
He had a Hashirama Cell arm.
Style, all this stuff gets bodied by Sasuke. And he.
And remember, if it wasn't for the Izanagi, Danzo would already be dead, like multiple times over. I mean, the fight kind of makes that obvious.
Beat up Shisui with some help. Like, he poisoned him, but he still blitzed him. Yeah. Shisui didn't notice the poison, so he's weaker than Danzo, stronger than Fugaku. But I guess we should go ahead and clarify the reason this is important, and it's because of Kodo Matsukami. Like, everybody's probably, like Kodo Matsukami right now. Like, well, he could just control Madara.
And me and Swag, we didn't just jump into this right off the. Usually when we collab, we just kind of like go like podcast mode. Not gonna cap, right?
Yeah.
But this time we actually did have to think about, okay, well, what about Kodo Matsukami? We did plan for it a little bit. And there's a few ways to go about it. Now, a lot of people think there's direct statements that Dojutsu inherently counters lower Dojutsu Genjutsu, but that's never really confirmed. It's more so just implied or somewhat implied. But the problem with Kodo Matsukami specifically is, okay, say you do get hit by the Genjutsu, yes, Modera could break the Genjutsu if he knew he was under it.
Yeah,
right.
That's the thing.
That's the problem. He needs to know he's under it, which apparently Kodomo Matsukami doesn't let you know you're under it to begin with.
Yeah,
exactly. Like that's the whole.
Like manipulates people without really letting them know.
That's the whole thing about Kodomo Matsukami.
Too, because like,
is that you don't even know you're under a Genjutsu.
Like, it apparently doesn't require eye contact, right? Okay, like as made evident by the Danzo manipulating Mifune thing. Like, there's a bandage covering his eye. He's clearly not making eye contact with.
And
Mifune.
the novels say it as well. He doesn't need eye contact.
But then when Itachi's crow uses it on him, like the camera makes like a big deal, and it's all like swooshy, like zooming in and out of both eyes, like showing Itachi like looking into the crow's eye. It is very heavily emphasizing the eye contact being made, and whereas Mifune broke free of the Genjutsu by being told he was in it, Itachi knows from like frame 1 that he is in this Genjutsu, explains that he is in this Genjutsu and how it broke him free of Kabuto's control, and it doesn't break, right? And it's not like it does break and he just like doesn't go back under Kabuto's control. He's like Sasuke is trying to talk to him. Itachi literally can't stop because he is programmed by the Genjutsu to protect the leaf and go kill Kabuto. He literally cannot stop moving to talk to Sasuke. So he's under it and he can't break free. So my hypothesis is that there are like 2 Kodomo Matsukamis, because you know everybody with a Sharingan has like 2 different jutsu in each eye. Even Obito, they like function differently. My hypothesis is that Shisui has like one super powerful one that you just can't break free of, and that's like the 10-year cooldown one, and you have to like look into his eye for it to work. And then there's the other one that doesn't require eye contact, and maybe you can use it more freely, because like people seem to know about this, and Shisui's like 16 when he dies. Like, ow, this like random Jonin dude from the mist like recognizes it when Danzo's using it. That doesn't make sense, because like I said, if he can only use it once every 10 years and he's like 16, like why would that be the encounter he uses it in? So I think there's like 2 different Kodomo Matsukamis, and Madara would just have to look out for the eye contact one. But
just like how there's 2 different versions of Kamui, there's the one that teleports other things into the Kamui dimension, and then there's the one that teleports you into the Kamui dimension. And the one that that's the one Obito has, where he's using it to phase through, to phase through, you know, attacks and objects and everything. Although I do find it interesting that technically both eyes allow you to teleport things into the Kamui dimension, but only one of them allows you to use it to teleport yourself, both in and out. Although we don't really know, because Kakashi one time used his Sharingan, which, as far as we know, only allows you to teleport other things into the Kamui dimension. He used it to teleport himself out. Although, I guess that's technically not true, because we did see him before that use it to teleport Killer B outside of the Kamui dimension. So I guess both can be used to teleport things in and out of the Kamui dimension, but only one of them allows you to use the ability on yourself. Okay.
Even if you don't believe me on that, the main thing is it's stated somewhere that even if there's like not like eye contact isn't required between both parties, Shisui does at least have to look into your eye to inject the chakra into you. And we've already seen Modera is perfectly capable of fighting people with no vision. Pre-Sage mode absorption, too.
So maybe blind Modera just kind of negates the equation, but like that might not be necessary, because the Kodomo Matsukami affecting Modera argument is still contentious, because we know that Obito has a similar jutsu to Kodomo Matsukami. The Mizukage thinks it's like the same thing, even though it's not. Basically, Kodomo Matsukami is more like an enhancement of Shisui trying to attempt the Genjutsu that Obito was kind of using. So, and it kind of manipulates the effects a little bit. But one thing you need to know about Genjutsu is that when you're controlling someone, it's heavily implied that the stronger your opponent is, or the more vast their chakra is, the stronger you have to be to do so, right? Like, the Nine Tails is too powerful to just control for a long period of time, even though Obito can control Yagura and the Three Tails for like years on end, right? The Nine Tails is like a few minutes at best, in Minato's opinion. Even Madara couldn't control the Nine Tails for that long necessarily, even though he might even have Tsukuyomi or something like that. So you might have to argue that even if Madara just wasn't able to like fight back against the effects because he didn't know they were happening, that it might be hard to argue that Shisui's strong enough to even manipulate Madara's body into acting how he wanted anyway. But there's then two other options as well. Say for one, say Madara doesn't underestimate the Uchiha and he's able to come back to life after dying once from one of his Sharingan. Well, there goes Shisui's Kodo Matsukami, okay? Now Madara just goes to town after coming back to life after dying under its effects or something.
Yeah.
But the next argument is, does Madara start his battle out with the entire Uchiha clan with Susano or not, right? Because say Itachi shoots Amaterasu or something to instantly start the battle, and because Itachi's faster than Shisui, say Itachi engages first, or any of them engage first, does Madara use his Susano? Because the Susano then arguably does block out Dojutsu. And it argued because, you know, we have Sasuke blocking out the infinite Tsukuyomi with his Susano, and the infinite Tsukuyomi is considered the strongest Genjutsu of all time. So stronger than Kodo Matsukami. So if Madara has his Susano active, then the Kodo Matsukami, which is Shisui injecting his chakra into your eyes, his chakra probably can't go through the Susano to reach Madara's eyes. And that's what I'm assuming is happening, right? So if he has his Susano active, probably doesn't work.
Well, and the other thing too, some people might be like, oh, well, that's just Sasuke's perfect Susanoo, but Madara has one of those, so like it's kind of a moot point.
I think the argument is more so you have to inject your chakra into them.
Yeah.
And then the Susano is kind of blocking that, right? I think that's what's being implied. It even blocks out light. There's a few things to suggest that it's hard to do that. So,
which we know that it's something that can be possible to deflect an ability that's cast by Dojutsu, because remember, Sasuke tried to hit Obito with the Amaterasu, but Obito saw the chakra being collected into Sasuke's eyes, and he knew what he was going to do, and he was able to put up a defense ahead of time. So you could say that Madara could do the same with Obito, because he's got the Sharingan. The Sharingan allows you to see chakra, and he could see that the chakra is being collected into Shisui's eyes. And considering this is Madara, obviously he would know what Shisui's abilities could do, and he would be able to put up a defense against it ahead of time, saying like, no, I'm not going to allow you to inject your chakra into me. So yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, that's something Madara could do.
Oh, it's not a perfect refutation. I'm not saying either is objectively right, but what I'm saying is that there's more contentious reasoning behind the Kodo Matsukami than just he looks at him GG, right? There's more things to consider, and Madara does have somewhat of a chance in a debate against that. Even though I feel like I underestimated Kodo Matsukami back in the day, I feel like it's stronger than I thought, but I still think there's more reasoning for Madara to be able to avoid it as well.
The big thing is what I said earlier, that there's a statement that he has to like inject chakra, like he looks into your eye. The Mangekyo doesn't require direct gaze to work. He only needs to look at their eyes and pour his chakra in. That's how it's worded. So if Madara doesn't have eyes, or his eyes are closed, then Shisui can't do anything, right? And now you may think like, well, how would Madara know? I mean, like, if he's in character, if he's fighting a bunch of Uchiha, he might just be careful and assume that one of them has some crazy Genjutsu. Maybe even Zetsu would tell him, right? Like,
maybe the argument you were saying before about, okay, well, maybe it takes the perfect Susano. Maybe that's valid, because I believe, and quote me if I'm wrong, but don't Sasuke and Itachi get hit by Genjutsu while in Susano and then put each other under Don't they put each other under Genjutsu when they're in Susano?
Yes.
Well,
Although you could argue
that there's just a willing thing,
they're allowing it to happen, maybe. But maybe, okay, say you need the perfect Susano.
Well, actually, one thing I will say about this is that when it comes to that Genjutsu, technically it was sound Yeah, it was sound. So you could say it's a little bit different because that was visual genjutsu as opposed to this, which was sound based genjutsu. And you could say that maybe sound is a little bit more difficult to block out because technically that's like even when Sasuke was blocking the infinite Tsukuyomi, it was still visual. Like you still had to, like, the light from the infinite Tsukuyomi had to hit you, and his Susanoo was able to block it out because technically that's more visual. But this is sound, so I guess you could say it's a little bit different. And at the same time, you could say that his Genjutsu was being powered up by um, Kabuto's Sage Chakra. So you could say it was a bit more powerful. And Sasuke, when he blocked it out, he was also being powered up by Hagoroma's Six Paths Chakra. So you could say it severely enhanced all his abilities, which includes the Perfect Susano. So you could say that maybe if Sasuke had the Perfect Susano but wasn't powered up by Six Paths Senjutsu, the one that he got from the one that he got from Hagoromo, then you could say that it wouldn't have worked. But because he had the Six Paths Chakra, he had the Six Paths Chakra, so that's why it worked. So like maybe it's that. Maybe it's because he had the Six Paths Chakra that it was able to work, as opposed to here where he didn't have it. But Kabuto did have Senjutsu, which we know, or he had a natural energy which severely enhances your abilities, which would include Genjutsu. So
happen maybe, but maybe, okay, say you need the perfect Susano. Okay, so bloodlusted Modera then just stops, right? He just goes perfect Susano. He's faster than all of them. He's rivaling KCM.
With that description of it too, like Shisui can't even see Madara all the way up there, right? Like it's the perfect Susanoo's really, really, really tall. So
the other thing too is, would they all just get blitzed? Because we know
it's taller than the meteor that Madara summoned from space. So yeah, I would say it's pretty big.
Madara scales to KCM 2,
and I think the anime actually made it look a lot bigger than it did in the manga. He's
twice as strong as KCM 2. He's fighting Sage Hashirama without the Susanoo at one point. And it's arguable that this character scales more like to Ten Tails Obito, not just Obito, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you kind of have to consider the fact that they just get blitzed. Even like Edo Itachi and EMS Sasuke might get blitzed, which was actually kind of implied and shown when Modera was blind with Sage Mode. That's kind of how it kind of would go, except probably worse because he's probably more used to his Mangekyo, and it probably amps him more personally. But
yeah. I think his EMS probably gives him a bigger amp than base Sage Mode, for sure. So.
And on top of that, Shisui, he just kind of gets blitzed and destroyed for the most part. But the other characters, such as Itachi, we've done Itachi versus Modera so many times.
Yeah.
But in this video, we're specifically using Sick Itachi, but the Sick Itachi, he also just gets blitzed and destroyed.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be able to do anything against Modera.
Kind of toys with him. We know that he would be able to avoid all of his strikes with the Totsuka Blade, and we also know his Susano would overpower Itachi Susano.
Like even Yada Mirror, right? Like even he holds up the Yada Mirror, like the concussive force of the perfect Susanoo sword, like would just send Itachi flying.
Even if you argue he could block an attack with his Yada Mirror, like he can't keep it up nearly as long as Modera. Modera literally is stronger than him, faster than him,
so
and
Modera just keep banging it over and over,
and his eyeballs just like work better. Like they don't run out of steam, they don't drain his chakra as bad. He's not gonna run out of chakra in 2 minutes of Susano usage. He's not like crackling in pain. Like
speaking of that, Modera can also, I'm pretty sure, just natively, like without the Renegon, absorb chakra like he did to Hashirama to suck up his Sage Mode. Because he didn't have Renegon when he did that.
That might be okay. Well, one of the things that's implied is that he might still have some Renegon abilities without his eyes, but you could also maybe argue that he has like Zetsu cells, so maybe it's like Hashirama-ish. Well,
I mean, it's interesting because, okay, look, this is, I feel like honestly this debate shouldn't still be happening, but this is something that people have been kind of you know, debating since I think when the chapter got released, but even more so I would say recently when, and I guess slight spoiler, or this is actually technically a big spoiler for the Boruto manga, but honestly, you look, if you haven't read the Boruto manga or if you're not all caught up at this point, then honestly that's on you. But just in case, maybe mute for like the next, I don't know, like the next 5 or so minutes, because I'm going to talk about something that happens in the Boruto manga and it's kind of big. So there you go. You can't say I didn't warn you. All right. So mute in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So in the Boruto manga, Sasuke gets his Rinnegan destroyed, okay, by Momoshiki when he takes over Boruto's body. And one thing that people have been kind of debating is, can Sasuke still kind of use some of the Rinnegan abilities, because we saw Madara do the same thing. And the reason why is because it's implied that, according to Kishimoto, okay, this is straight from the author's mouth, is that once chakra is in your body, it never actually leaves. Okay, that's according to him. Even if the main source of it is removed, that chakra is still there. So for example, that's why you could say that both Sasuke and Naruto still retain some of that six-path chakra, even though it's kind of implied that Hagoromo took it back once they were done sealing away Kaguya. You know, once they lost the Sun and Moon seals, then Hagoromo was able to bring them back, even though he said earlier he can't, because right now he's given his chakra away to Naruto and Sasuke. And then once they sealed away Kaguya, the Sun and Moon seals disappeared, and then Hagoromo was able to bring them back, implying that he got his powers back and that they were taken away from Naruto and Sasuke. But Sasuke still had the Rinnegan and Naruto still had six-path Senjutsu. Because again, according to Kishimoto, once the chakra is in you, it can't ever go away, truly at least. So because of that, people are implying that even though Sasuke doesn't have the Rinnegan anymore, he can still use some of the Rinnegan abilities, one of them being what Madara is doing right here, which is the Rinnegan's Preda Path, the ability that allows you to absorb chakra. And that's implying like that's what's happening with Madara, and like what he's doing here to Hashirama, he's absorbing his, you know, his sage chakra. But people have implied that this is something that, you know, just anyone can do apparently, even though I don't really think that's the case. I mean, if this is true, if this is an ability that anyone can do, then why aren't we seeing more people use it? You see what I mean? And people have brought out that, well, we saw this kind of before in the Chunin exams when the guy was absorbing Sasuke's chakra, although we don't know if he was taking the chakra for himself or if that's just an ability that like removes the person's chakra just completely. You see what I mean? But at the same time, remember, like look at what Madara is doing here, and look at how it's drawn. Like, you know, you've got these circular things, kind of like bubbles or whatever, and it's even animated that way in the anime. Later on, when Naruto's fighting Sasuke, Sasuke does the same thing, and it's even drawn exactly the same. And Sasuke himself says this is one of the abilities afforded to, or this is just one of the many abilities of the Rinnegan. So telling us that yes, this is the same ability. So, and remember, Sasuke's eyes were closed, and he even said, like, I don't have enough chakra at the time to maintain the Rinnegan, because he tried to absorb he tried to do what he did before and absorb more chakra from the tailed beasts, but because he didn't have enough chakra to sustain the Rinnegan, he couldn't do it. But then when he came into close contact with Naruto, he was able to use a weaker version of it to take the chakra from Naruto and power himself up. So that's why even though Sasuke may not have the Rinnegan, excuse me, even though he may not have the Rinnegan, he should still, according to the story, be able to use some of its base abilities. Again, this is just, I'm going by the actual lore, by the story. Like, if Sasuke doesn't, then that's a plot hole. Some people have said it's a retcon. No, it's not a retcon. This is just a straight up plot hole, okay? I don't care what anyone says. And because we know that Madara, even though he didn't have, you know, his eyes, he was still able to bring out the Susano. He didn't bring out the perfect Susano, but he was able to use it. So you see, that's where the whole thing comes into place. Now, look, for me personally, I think that no, Sasuke should still be able to use some of the base abilities of the Rinnegan, like being able to absorb chakra. He should still be able to use the Susano. He should still be able to Well, Sasuke still has one of his eyes, so it's a bit different from Madara. So he should still technically be able to do more than what Madara did when he had, no eyes. But honestly, I get the feeling that either Kishimoto forgot these things or he's just, I don't know, like purposely not having Sasuke use them. Like when he, for some reason, never had Sasuke use the ability to absorb chakra, even though the guy keeps complaining about having no chakra. But whatever, let's go ahead and continue.
Without the Renegon absorb chakra like he did to Hashirama to suck up his Sage Mode. Because he didn't have Renegon when he did that.
That might be okay. Well, one of the things that's implied is that he might still have some Renegon abilities without his eyes, but you could also maybe argue that he has like Zetsu cells, so maybe it's like Hashirama-ish. That's I absorbed it that way. Like, yeah, there's so many weird things you can say about that, but yeah. That's the other thing as well. When he has no eyeballs, he can still use his Susano. So
yeah. So like, even if he Izanagi's twice, he's still like really strong.
Yeah. From there, it's just kind of like, okay, he out staminas Itachi. He's fast enough to avoid all his attacks. He's able to block Amaterasu if he takes him seriously. We're gonna assume he's serious, right? I mean, sure, if he's toying around and he lets himself get hit by Amaterasu, maybe he gets like destroyed or something. But that seems like really disingenuous to the topic because we're kind of power scaling, right? Other than that, though, Fugaku is just weaker than 11-year-old Itachi. He's already getting like bullied by Modera anyway, and he has weaker Genjutsu and speed than Shisui, who we've already went over. Other than that, Izuna is weaker than Tobirama, or maybe rivaling Tobirama. And then we've seen how Modera can kind of toy with Tobirama as well. We've also seen that Modera scales to Hashirama, who Tobirama is deathly afraid of and is stated to be number 2 of. But maybe Izuna would be more relative, but then we see that Tobirama gets destroyed, or...
Well, let's put it like this, right? Could all these people with Izuna fight 1,000-armed Buddha statue? Probably not.
By the way, speaking of that, this Modera can summon the Nine Tails.
Yeah.
As well.
Fight that Buddha statue, to a standstill. Yeah.
The complete Nine Tails, by the way. So he has twice the Nine Tails that Naruto does when he performs all the War Arc feats and surpasses Edo Itachi, let alone Sick Itachi. Then we have to kind of talk about Obito, but as I said earlier, Obito kind of scales, this Madara, even if you say this that 10 Tails Obito is stronger, Madara more so scales to 10 Tails Obito than Renegon Obito, let alone Orange Mask Obito.
Yeah, the scaling is really edgy, but Naruto and Sasuke are equaling 10 Tails Obito, and then Alive Madara is bullying them with no eyes. So
yeah, I mean, I guess just at the end of the day,
that one is a bit interesting because
yeah, and he himself is pretty strong, but he's no Madara, right?
He was getting bullied by base Madara with no eyes, no Nine Tails, and so then you give Madara EMS, full Nine Tails. Yikes!
Yeah, and what I was saying earlier,
sorry, you go ahead,
is that even if you say Tobirama scales to Izuna somehow, Tobirama lost to Kinkaku and Kinkaku and the Kinkaku Force. The Kinkaku Force are nameless. There's nowhere ever confirmed how strong they were, but they're implied to be not very strong. They're not even notable shinobi.
But there was 20 of them!
They weren't even reanimated or ever talked about, so Kabuto didn't think they were worth anything.
Yeah, hold on. Kabuto reanimated like Asuma and not them.
Yeah, but not anyone from the Kinkaku Force. But yeah, anyway, so Kikaku and Kinkaku, say that both of them had to go Nine Tails mode to beat Tobirama. Okay, now imagine you put those two together and they're not anything remotely comparable to just one Nine Tails. They got all of that power from just munching on its intestines while they were in it. Now imagine the entire thing plus Madara who scales to it. And there's just no way Tobirama ever remotely scales.
Well, yeah, just imagine you put all these other people, right? And you replace Izuna with Tobirama, and then you put 1,000-armed Buddha statue there. Like I said, they still lose. They get smacked. And
yeah,
Madara still fought. Madara fought that and like the big wood golem and like all of Hashirama's other stuff, and still fought Hashirama to a standstill.
I'm sorry, I was thinking to myself, I was like, yo, name any Uchiha that could like fight the 1,000 arm statue, right? And it was just like, I'm imagining Itachi with his shield out, getting like comboed like melee through the air while he's holding the shield out by the Buddha statue.
Like, yeah, just throwing him everywhere.
Yeah. So, I think that's all that really needs to be said. I think blind Modera might just like even stomp just even harder, just because he has no weakness to Genjutsu. Like, there's not even a debate on that, really.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit more debatable power-wise, but yeah, I think overall, like, the Uchiha clan just gets overall stomped by Modera, and that's all I really have to say. Did we even miss anyone? I don't think we missed anyone.
No, I think they got everyone.
Guys, I guess, but they're older than 11-year-old Itachi.
I guess there's like Sasuke, but Sasuke is just, even EMS, we already went over it. Like, you
literally have to give him the Renegon, or else he gets bodied. Yeah.
Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.
If you want to see more, do you want to see more? Swag uploaded in one of our collabs, which was Sasuke versus the Akatsuki. And none of that. Bye.
I think that's the video. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, yeah, look, Modera was just. I look. I'm not going to say anything here that I haven't already said in previous videos or that they haven't already said themselves. But Modera was just he was crazy. He was absolutely crazy. And keep in mind, they didn't even talk about like 10 Tails Modera, because I think that's even like that just wouldn't be fair. But yeah, so anyway, guys, I'm gonna end this video right here. Again, I don't want to keep you guys for too long. I just I don't want you guys to I don't want any video to be any longer than it kind of needs to be, because I know I have a tendency to ramble. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, guys, as always, please consider leaving a like, sharing this video out there. Please subscribe if you haven't, and make sure to click on the bell icon to be notified whenever I post a new video, and make sure to click on all notifications after you click on the bell icon, because that way you will be sure to be notified whenever I post a new video, because YouTube's notification system is still broken and they haven't fixed it yet for some weird reason. Anyway, talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.